Let's take a look at the analytics section of Aware, where you can get reporting, metrics, analysis of your content, and also of how your team is doing, as well as some functions to repurpose and reuse content elsewhere for posting and scheduling. First, come into the Analyze section of Aware on the left, and then you want to set a date range. So a lot of the date ranges I use are going to be 4 weeks, quarter to date, sometimes last 365 days if I'm looking for content ideas that go back about a year. But you can set a custom date range as early as you want, as early as you have been on LinkedIn. Although if you do that, if you go back more than 4 years, just know that some data points won't actually be available because LinkedIn doesn't store them. So this is if you have not been an Aware user longer than a few years. Let's try quarter to date. All right, first, a couple of things. So right now I'm only analyzing my own profile, but if you want to analyze more, add more team members to the system, and then you can check off more than one. Up here at the top, we have some more of the static kind of metrics. So one thing I like to call out is that profile appearance includes more than just your profile appearances in search results, but it also includes profile appearances anywhere on LinkedIn. So this number can get pretty big, especially if you're doing a good amount of engagement. So do try to keep an eye on that. And you can also dig deeper into these stats to figure out how much of your profile impressions are coming from commenting versus from posting. Before we get down into the insights part of this, I want to show you the audience tab. This is where you can see the industries, locations, seniorities, and companies and so forth of your followers. This doesn't change too often, so I maybe review this once every month or two. In the performance section, you're going to see a number of metrics here in graphs. You'll also see some tabs here. We'll go through those after this. The overview tab is going to have the graph section. So you'll see number of posts, which does not include mere reposts with no additional content. Content views, also called impressions or reach. So this is where you would see reach. Shares is going to be the number of reposts or reshares, whatever you call that, when somebody reposts your content. Engagement rate is the total number of engagements, which includes reactions, comments, and shares or reposts, divided by the total number of user impressions on that post. Comments received is the amount of comments on your own post, which includes comments you write on your own posts. Likes received is the same thing, but with reactions instead of with comments. Comments and likes left, these are the flip side of those. So comments left is all comments you have been writing, and likes left is all reactions you have left on other content. New followers, as you would imagine, is the amount of new followers you've gained during this period. New connections is the same thing. Note that we don't distinguish between connections you have sent and connections you've received. We just track the number of new connections. And finally, the number of messages is actually, if you look here, the number of unique people messaged. So if you send 10 messages to one person, that'll log as 1, not as 10. Now, if we go back up to the top of this, you'll see download analytics report and download comments left. If you don't see download comments left, you might not be on the power user plan, so consider upgrading if you want to use this. This is going to give you the text and the link to the post that you commented on for all of the comments that we have for you in our system. A download analytics report is going to give you monthly calendar totals of all these stats over time since inception, so you can calculate your stats. In the content tab, you can see all the content you've posted during the date range you've selected, and then either repurpose, which just puts the post text back into your drafts folder, at which point you can publish later or do anything you want. It does not schedule your post to be reposted right now. So you can hit this button freely and it's just going to put it in your drafts folder. Then you can sort by any of these columns. I often like to sort by top comments or top reach or often top shares as well. You can also sort by engagement rate. One tip on engagement rate, the top reach posts are often going to have the lowest engagement rate. So look at this with a grain of salt. Okay, so now if you look at the tags section, you previously might have seen these tags up here. These are just ways of organizing your content, and you can do multiple tags if you want, and then later you can redo this report by tag. So for example, I could hit the Aware button and only see the posts that are tagged at least with Aware, if not other tags. One of my favorite things to do with this is download post data if I need to send the entire library of posts to somewhere to train a separate AI. Although do keep in mind that Aware's AI post generator is automatically trained on these posts, so you don't need to do any exporting if you use our own AI post generator. But I often do a ton of repurposing. So like I said, I'll sort by top comments, top reactions, and top views, and I'll look through the posts I may want to repurpose and put back into my drafts. Real quick to pop over to the drafts section to show you what I mean. There's a ton of stuff in here that I've repurposed and that I can always go to if I ever need post ideas because I've spent some time going through the stats and repurposing the ones that work well for me. The last thing you'll see is the team breakdown section. So this is where you can look at multiple team members at once. For example, I've selected all 4 team members in this account, and you can see the current time period versus the previous one in each of these bars. So this is current, this is previous, and current, previous. And then what this can tell me is A, how is everyone doing versus everyone else, and also versus their prior self and prior behavior, if you want to call it that. We track all those same metrics, the ones that we have, team member by team member. And then on the overview section, this is where it's all broken down. Well, it's not broken down, it's aggregated. So this is aggregated metrics for all 4 versus team member breakdown metrics for all 4 people.